Hi, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Money Talk. I am your host, Yetunde. So, this is a podcast for people who work, you earn income, you have debt, and you want to be debt free. You have a home-based business, but you still struggle with personal finance and budgeting. This is the place to be. I keep it simple and I throw away the financial jargons. Who needs them? Not us. Now, if that sounds good to you, I want you to subscribe, like, share, and comment below. Now, guys, if this is your first time tuning in to my show, welcome. Pull up a chair. Join the family. Now, if you are a returning viewer, well, you know the drill. Come on, bring it in. Hugs and love to you. So today, I will be sharing a pre-recorded video that I did with a friend of mine, Susan, who is a mother of 4. And one of her children is autistic. And we were just talking, and she kind of was telling me her story, her 27-year journey story with her son, Parker. And it was such an interesting story because she enlightened me that in the autism community, when the child is diagnosed with autism at the early stages, majority of the times, the breadwinner leaves the home. The breadwinner leaves the home. And as you know, when the breadwinner leaves the home, the rest of the family suffers. So she and I started this podcast. It's called Unraveling Autism. I'm also a host on that show. So kudos. And I will also drop the link down below. So I want you to take a watch and listen and share it with anybody that you know that needs some type of information, or because in the video we also share resources that single parents can go to and look up online. You can Google, and they're good resources, at least for a start. And I just enjoyed doing the show with my friend Susan, and I hope that it will bless you. And so take a listen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unraveling Autism. This is a podcast for moms of autism, friends and family of autism, those who just want to learn, and everyone in between. Fasten your seatbelts, for this is the unfiltered version. Expect the unexpected.
Like trying to sell my house to pay for therapies.
Wild Adventures Productions presents Unraveling Autism.
In their life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to need help. And then we might need more help because we're talking about really heavy furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm calling upon you. You said if I come in times of trouble, that you will send help from the sanctuary.
Yes.
So that was my last thing to my prayer. And then I was just going to say I hung up with God. So I hung up with God.
With Sharon.
So then I went out and I had to help. And I'm telling you, my daughter actually really started doing her part. And she's the youngest, so I don't always ask for help. And her brother, you know, Presley, is super strong, so she usually doesn't have to help. So sometimes it's necessity is mother of all inventions, because sometimes you have to be painted to a corner to see what your kids are able to do.
Yeah.
And Sydney was one, she was leading the charge. I couldn't believe it. She was lifting. She was doing all of these things and teaching her friends how to do it. And even then, they were just standing there. So I had to show them, like, you need to grab this, you need to grab that. Okay, so we got this like monster, you know, chest onto the back, and we took it, and then they thought they were done. And I'm like, I have a few more things. And
we're not done yet.
One of them was, you know, so heavy. And it was so crazy because it's a hide-a-bed, and the bed part of it broke because my son Presley jumped on it, and it like broke. And Sharon, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. I know that's the couch you gave us, and he broke it, and it just looks awful. So we had to get rid of it. So I didn't know how that was even going to go out, because like we got the chest to the dumpster, but the bed is a whole different, because we had a bunch of things, boxes packed, and the living room was packed, and the dining room was packed, and this thing needs to come out of there, and there needs to be some finesse to this whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was trying to figure it out. I'm staring at it. I'm talking to God.
Yeah.
I need to figure this out. How am I going to do it? I might have to wait till Presley gets out of work, but he works really hard, and then he comes home at late. So I was trying to alleviate, you know, him having to do it.
Yes.
But I was thinking about it, and I walked outside. I cannot make this up, people. Can I just say? There were 5 young boys standing outside. And I said, where did you guys come from? And one of them goes, I'm Mr. Helper. This is Dr. Helper. This is Professor Helper. And I'm like looking at them like, wow, oh my gosh.
That's the guy.
They were walking by. We can't discount this generation, people, because they were walking by and they saw the kids struggling with some of the furniture that was going on the back of the truck. And they asked them what they were doing. And they said, well, we're helping to move some things to the dumpster. And they said, hey, we want to help. And this was so awesome, because when they said, you know, I'm Mr. Helper and all this stuff, I said, well, which one of you is the thinker in this group?
Yeah.
And one of them raised his hand and said, I'm the thinker. The other one goes, no, I'm the thinker. And I go, well, I could use both of you. And so I brought them in. I go, here is the situation. This couch is wedged in here. But if you scrape my floors, you scrape my walls, they're going to charge me. And do you know that these boys took that to heart? Necessity is mother of all inventions. When given the task, and they took it to heart, they brought that couch out without one scrape. I don't think movers could have done such a good job. Then my daughter said, guys, for helping us, I think we should do the TikTok that we saw with the Friends song. I go, the Friends song, like from before? And they go, yeah, it's a new trend. They put the couch on the road, and they turned on this TikTok song, and they did all of this stuff, and they had so much fun with the couch.
Wow, this is really off topic, people, but I'm hoping you're enjoying this.
Right? I have to tell you guys this, because they had so much fun that something that I looked at as dread, God showed up, and he didn't just show up. He showed up, and everybody won, because by the time everybody left, they had so much fun, and they had the coolest TikTok to share with everyone. And it was just unbelievable. I came in the house and didn't know what had hit me. And so even though this is a financial segment, I'm just telling you, that God
Mhm.
doesn't have any troubles meeting us, whether it's our finances,
Yes. Yes.
moving of our couch.
Yeah.
It does not matter, because
It doesn't.
I don't yet know what day we're supposed to move where yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's scary because I'm supposed
Yeah.
to move out on the 31st of this month, and today is the 28th.
28th, yeah.
And I don't even know, like, I have all this furniture and I don't know who's going to move us or anything. But having seen that,
Yes.
having experienced that,
Yes. He can do it.
he can do it, guys. Write down your budget.
Yes.
Yatende, you take this. Go
Yes.
ahead. Reiterate.
So I mean, look, you just, yeah, I mean, you said everything, Susan. You know, first is being transparent with God. Most of us, especially believers, we think, oh, God knows us. God knows us. He knows what I want. You know, and you're doing that eternally. You know, you're thinking that, you know, but no, you need to say it. He wants us to say it.
Yes.
While you were saying your story, Susan, about that story about needing $300 when you actually wrote out everything, you lined everything on paper, and you're like, God, I need you to meet me. I need you to meet me at the point of my need. You broke down, you told him what you wanted, and that's what he wants.
Yes.
That's what he wants. I know for most of you, a budget is not it. Budget is not what you want to hear. A budget, like, no way. But you can't do it on your own strength. You have to draw from God. You know, like, God, okay, I haven't done this before. This budget thing, they're talking to me. I don't know it, Lord, but I need you. I need to just draw from God's strength. And while you were talking to, I remember David's story. That's why God said David was a man after his own heart.
Honest.
David was honest, my guys. He was
Brutally
honest. He would just put it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Lord. You know, he would do something stupid and then come back and say, okay, Lord, I was stupid. What was I thinking about? You know? And I believe because of that, that's why God called him a man after my own heart.
Because it's not about perfection.
It's not.
Not even close to it.
None of us were born and came out perfect. Like, oh, I'm perfect. You know, I'm perfect. No. This is the things that we have to go through in life. There are things that will happen that will make us humble. There are things that will happen that will make us start to think like, oh, you know what? I used to do it that way, but now I think I need to go God's way, you know? And that's just it. You know, so learn from this, hear what we're saying, people. And of course, everybody is different. But as we've been saying all along, check your family, check your life, and see what's the word I'm looking for, Susan? See what works for you and your family.
Yeah.
This autism thing, I'm telling you, it's not even autism. There are other disabilities out there that I'm sure, you know, that are costly, you know, that are costing you. So just think about these things and just sit down and just write it out. You don't have a phone, an app, or iPad and do all this IT stuff. That's okay. Go the old school way. Do that. And then once you're good with that, you know, over the course of 3, 6, up to a year, you become okay. And I can tell you, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm telling you, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So I love it. I love it, Susan.
Yeah, I think there's so much
Yeah.
to all of this application,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it's not one size fits all.
It's not.
And really, for me, guys, I just want you to know, because finance isn't my first go-to.
Mm-hmm.
And as we progress with our podcasts and such, we have vision of things to come that we feel like we can share.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Yatende is always going to be the one that's leading the charge. with what we're doing as far as finances and, and the monies that we need to get the projects that we have in our heart done.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I can't come alongside of her. And I also want you to know that even with the principles that I've learned, because I'm not wired to be a numbers person or financial in that way, I always have to fine tune it. I'm always working on it.
Yeah.
I'm always because, it's not about arriving, because life changes.
Yeah, of course.
Kids change, their needs change, what we need changes, So what Parker and Ryan need today is different than what they needed. What Presley and Sydney need today is different than what they needed before.
Right. Correct.
So like as things change, we need to be flexible to change with that. Exactly. And even the principles of budget is always very much set in that you need to list out what you have, and the whole process should end you in a place where what you bring in is definitely more than what your outlay is, what you spend. And so that's the whole thing. That's the whole process. But what you do on a day-to-day and the cost of that is going to change, and things are going to get less, and you learn and you grow. So, so let's say that you go to Starbucks every day, nobody's condemning you. I love Starbucks, but it's not about cutting out Starbucks, but maybe you could just buy the concentrated Starbucks. Exactly. And even though it doesn't always taste the same, maybe you can learn a little, by learning how to, like Sydney is our barista. She loves blending coffees. So we always ask her to do it because everything she makes tastes better than what I make. And so like she's taken that on. Why? Because we're not a family that can afford to go to Starbucks, but every once in a while it's a great treat. It really is. And so we've gone to Starbucks and bought coffee, and and sometimes she'd be happy to give up eating just to go to Starbucks, so everybody has a different important thing that they want to do with their money, and nobody is condemning you for it, because everybody needs a treat. We don't live our life every day just only doing what we have to do. Exactly. Life is about fun. It's about celebrating. It's about doing the special things, but nothing is special if you do it every single day.
Correct. And you hit the nail on the head. I'm not saying, don't spend. The thing about it is, if you are going through a financial difficulty, like right now is the time to start looking at your budget and cutting out things. It's not like forever. Please don't think I'm like, don't drink Starbucks. No. Don't go out.
We don't have anything against Starbucks. We love Starbucks.
Exactly. No. Don't go out eating no more. No. You can still go out eating. If you go out to eat, maybe, I don't know, some people 10 times a month, 5 times a month, maybe you have to cut that down. Cut that down, or stop for the meantime, let's say for 3 months, for 6 months. Okay, I'm going to sacrifice because I need to get this medical bill paid. I need to pay for this particular thing, so I'm going to sacrifice for at least 3 months, to save and put this money away. So that's what we're talking about here.
Okay. Yeah, today something just popped in my head.
Okay.
It always pops.
I know. Go ahead.
So before I had kids or thought about having kids, when I was working and loving my life, working and having money, my friend Lewis, who was older than me, he had a family, had 3 kids and all of this stuff. Had started a Bible study at work, and it was just 3 of us, me, Randy, and Lewis, okay? But they were older, and Lewis said something back then that I have used now. So Lewis, I don't know if you'll ever watch our podcast, but I just want to, hats off to you.
Hey, Lewis, I don't even know what you did yet.
We're talking like 40 years later. So he said this, and I thought it was a little much because I didn't have kids, right? He said, when we go out, and he had a good living, like real good living, but his wife stayed home and had 3 kids. And he said, when we go out on Friday nights for dinner, he said, we just go out on Friday nights. He said, I've taught my kids, and sometimes they complain because they want to drink sodas. But I taught them how they could get water for free, and you could get free lemon and make like your own little lemonade. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the worst. I'm sure back then, I still am like this today. So I'm certain I said to him, you're the worst. Like, I can't believe you're making your kids lemon and water. And come on, dude. Like, bring out for dinner. Let them have a little soda.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I share that story over the years with my kids multiple times, and they didn't like it for most of their life. But since my kids started working, you know this because your kids are working.
They're working too.
Their whole idea of money is changed because every single time that we have gone to dinner, and I really appreciate this about my kids. They have an amazing heart because whether you're paying for it, Yetunde, or I'm paying for it, they order water because they say there's no reason to pay the upcharge. I could get a soda at the grocery store and I don't need that. Now, when they were younger, it didn't matter whether they just wanted it.
Yeah.
And Aunt Sharon's of the world would take them out and they get to choose whatever. And so they got to celebrate. And so they realized that there's times when they could have it. And then there's times that they just don't need it. And so, Louis, it started with you. Like, I started introducing them to, water and putting lemon in the water. And Presley's not big on lemonade. He just has water. But it cut down in our family. Literally now the price of soda has gone up so much. But at one time, like, we calculated it was like $11 for everybody to get a soda. So right away, it made it possible for us to go out to eat once in a while more than it did before because we weren't getting sodas.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, that's good.
Those little things.
Yes, I call it frugal people. Okay.
This is coffee. Yeah. From home.
There you go.
She's not home, so straight coffee with just water. Okay. Die hard.
That's good. Yes, being frugal is good. I love it. Wow. So my other tip that I would like to bring in is also, and I probably can, I'll make this my last one because of our time. Consider a side hustle. Now, and you're like, oh, Yetunde, like what? Like, I got this kid who has autism, some type of disability, and you want me to do what? A side hustle? I love that word, side hustle. But, there, like Susan, you mentioned earlier, as caretakers, you don't even get to think about yourself.
No.
You don't get.
I still struggle with that.
And you still struggle with and there are some things that I know you, Susan, that you like to do, or that you just found yourself doing. It's a hobby or some type of activity that you pick. And those are the kinds of things, and we're going to talk about it, like crafting. You can make extra money doing those things. And once you do those things, like especially like crafting, you can put them on Etsy. You can put them on Amazon, and let me tell you, they could be unique things because you can only make one of it.
Yeah. It's very unique because I don't know how to do more than that.
There you go. And those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about that, it could while just to get your mind off of things, of the situation.
Wow, that's so good.
Wow.
Wow.
You can focus on this on your own time, and just, maybe knit, maybe I know for me sometimes I live, I don't, not that I live in the woods, but it's a woody area. So while I'm doing my walk around here,
Yeah.
I find these tree branches that are like crooked
Yeah.
but they're so gorgeous, Susan.
Yeah.
And beautiful. I love the structure.
Yeah.
And so I will pick them up and I will go to the dollar store.
Yeah.
And I would buy the shaving, the sandpaper thingy, the saw,
Yeah.
and I would, in my own time, just to release some,
Yes.
endorphins, whatever they call
Yes.
it. And I would go outside and I would shave the bark, off of it. I'll, of course, make sure the wood is dry. And I would, take off the bark and then sandpaper it very well. And sometimes I've thought about tinting them, tinting the wood like into a darker shade color, like oak or something like that kind of color, or cherry kind of color. But so far I've just left them like that. After I've taken the bark off and I've actually
Yeah.
sanded down, I should say, sanded down. And I just go to we talked about thrift store. Go to the thrift store, find these beautiful vases.
Yes. For nothing.
Beautiful. Yes, for nothing, guys.
Yeah.
I found one like for $3. I should have brought it while I didn't know I
That's too
was going to talk
expensive.
about.
Then he'll tell you it's too expensive.
Oh, really? $3?
She'll tell you 50
boy.
cents.
Oh.
You have a cap.
And I just found these stuffers at the dollar store, put those in, and I stuck the wood in there. I'm telling you, when people come to visit, they think I bought this thing from an antique store or something. And all it is, because I just bought this beautiful vase that I saw at the thrift store, and the wood that it was from outside, and I just found time, of course, my personal time, just to, beautify it and stick it into this vase, and it looks like this decor that I'm telling you, you would think, wow, I spend millions of dollars on this. No, guys, no. And at one point, I'm going to sell it on Etsy or Amazon, but I'm just trying to, enjoy it right now. So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, like the side hustle. And I know, Susan, you found a new
I know. It's just incredible because you know me.
Yeah.
For those of you, most of you that don't know me, if you would have told me to do this, I would have told you you're crazy. But necessity is truly the mother of all inventions, because my daughter said, Mom, I noticed on TikTok people are wearing crocheted clothes. And she goes, but they're so expensive. And she was showing them to me and she goes, they're so expensive, Mom. So we're big Walmart shoppers. So we went to Walmart one day and we were getting stuff. And then I noticed the yarns and I looked at it. I looked at the crochet things and yarn. I was really surprised. I've never shopped for yarn before. It was like $2 a roll. And then I looked at it and I thought, I said to her, no promises, none. I said, so I'm going to just try my hand at something. And maybe at the best, I'm going to make like a hot pot thing, I don't know.
Hot pot mitten.
Yeah, not even mitten, just square. Okay. I said, I don't even know if I could do square, but I could do it in straight lines, whatever. But I just thought, I told her, no promises, right? So I came home and I have this problem, guys. I'm just going to tell you. I don't like manuals and I don't like following directions. That's why we have Yetende, because she loves all of that. I am a person, you'll see this about me. I'm the idea guy.
I'm the rules. We have to follow the rules here. No,
and I'm always the visionary. And then I'll say it to Yetunde and she'll be making notes of all the things and I'll be like putting it out there. So just like that, in fact, I cook very well, I would say, because I've had a lot of experience, but I have never followed recipes because I just like to use whatever's available. So I'll never be able to recreate it the same way. And then the same thing with the crocheting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to look at YouTube. I'm just going to do it logically. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, I think that I could probably, and it just so happened one of her bathing suit bottoms were like, I needed to put clothes away and there it was. So I'm like staring at it. I'm like, this is fairly simple. Anyway, long story short, she knows this. Yetunde knows this. We don't show these pictures very often to anyone because it's usually my daughter wearing it. And I have made bags after bags. I have made more bikini bathing suits. I have made things that to the point where I look at it and I'm just amazed. I'm telling you, somebody, her friend's mother have asked me, like, we'll pay you good money.
Yes.
Like, I could probably get a lot of money for it. But the reason I don't sell it yet is because I just always say, I can't reproduce anything. With my daughter, she'll wear anything I make.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me I want this and then I can come up with it because I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So, but Yetunde, based on what you're saying, we have a lot of visions. Could you put this on the list of visions? Because I think because Yetunde has helped us to set up a art site for Parker and he's selling his art. For those of you that haven't seen it, please go on it.
Yes.
We haven't yet figured out how to connect PayPal and all that yet, but she has put a site together. If you're interested, email us.
Yes.
Because maybe, Yetunde, what we need to do is have a community site where we can put these moms, all of us,
yes,
and start a site where we could take one-off crocheted bathing suit or this vase with this art.
Yes.
We could you can send us a picture and we could load it up for you and give you an opportunity to sell it and to show it to the public. But guys, I also started crocheting because, like Yetunde was saying, when I started to crochet, I realized that it gave me that rest that I needed. It kept my hands busy. It took my thoughts off of real life, hard things. And I really enjoyed it. And then when I started to see something that I produced, it brought a different kind of joy.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and then when I see my daughter wearing it and she's like, her friends are jealous of it.
That's double joy.
Right?
That's double joy.
That is like, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So guys, So
we know that you don't have a lot of time. And we're not even saying if your child just got diagnosed, we're not talking about today.
No, we're not.
But we will continue to give you some ideas down the road because I never took care of myself for a lot of years. Really took care of myself. And I still fall into that trapping. I was looking at some of our podcasts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to comb my hair before I come. You and Sydney look beautiful. You actually are doing better with my makeup and combing my hair. Okay. Because a lot of times I'm just like, you got to see the first one we did. It was so bad. I couldn't even put it online. So we had to redo it. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And so I want to just share the things that I've experienced in life. And there's no such thing as too late. So do it today where you're standing today.
Yes.
And we have a lot of vision. Yetunde and I and Sydney have vision of really fortifying our community. And she represents the village because a community of just us as special needs community is not what God intended for us. What God intended for us is to just be a part of community. Not, Black community, white community, special needs community, Asian community. just community.
Community, period.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we want to go with all of this is
Yes.
that's why we say in the beginning, friends and family and all the people in between.
Exactly.
Every one of us have some kind of obstacle that we have to deal with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to God, we are just special because
Yeah.
He created us the way that He created us.
Mm-hmm.
We all can bring something to the table.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So have a look at the analogy of a banquet table, a table. Let's say, like I don't think they do it in Florida, but in the Midwest, there's a lot of potlucks.
Mm-hmm.
You have a decorated table, right? And everybody brings a dish.
Yeah.
Bring your dish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
did you
I
have
love it.
something else you wanted to?
Yeah, and this is just my last point or comment, I should say. When you were talking, you talked about community. And guys, even on that last point, like I said in the beginning, even when I mentioned it, and even when I was putting it in my notes, I was like, consider it a side hustle. Oh boy, they may say, I don't even have time right now. What are you talking about? A side hustle?
Yeah.
You know? But the thing about it is this, and if you go back and watch our previous podcasts where we talk about isolation. Susan talked about isolation.
I still
This
suffer from that.
Yeah. And this is why we're putting this podcast out so that you don't have to.
Yeah.
Get a friend, get a family member who can watch your child, autistic child for an hour or two. And so that you can deprogram, decompress, just have a moment with yourself. And like Susan was talking about crocheting, it just took her mind off of the issue. For me, even just sanding down the tree bark, I mean, it took my mind off of things. There's something that I know that you love to do, even maybe just journaling, and you don't know that journaling will one day become a book.
Yeah.
It can become a book for you. You have no idea whatever your hobby is or whatever activity you find yourself doing. It doesn't matter. 30 minutes, 15 minutes with yourself, and hey, can you take care of my child, just for 30 minutes, just for an hour, and then have that time for yourself because you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yes.
Yes.
You're important.
And you are important. And like Susan was talking about earlier, healthcare. She's the caretaker, but she couldn't even get insurance for herself. So think about that. You are the caretaker and you need to be taken well cared. I mean,
you know how in the airplane they give you the oxygen? And they always, you know what I'm going to say. Go ahead. They always tell you to put it on yourself.
On yourself first.
If you pass out, you can't help your kid.
You can't help the next. Yes. You can't help. Not at all. So that's all I wanted to say to you guys. And yeah.
Thanks for sharing your thing about the budget. And we will break it down.
Yes.
So you guys know, like, there's a lot of things that are on our heart, and definitely budget and helping with the finances is one of it. And I know all of these things, like she was saying, seems overwhelming. It was to me for years. I was just like, oh yeah, like that's a joke. Like, are you joking with me?
I know.
Are we talking about, extracurricular or budget or whatever? I'm like, barely have my head, out of the water. And a lot of times it's like halfway underwater. So I just always felt like that. But I know that. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I was gonna put I'm gonna put a link down at the bottom of this for the financial stuff. To make it real, we make it really simple, guys. It's nothing, no jargon, no financial jargons here and there. No, we make it really, really simple I need to keep on looking here at the camera because I keep looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. So we really make it easy, and I'll drop the link for the financial stuff at the bottom of this video clip. I'll drop the link for Parker's art gallery also at the bottom. And like Susan said, we have a lot of things that God has just given us, and of course, stay with us and subscribe. And
subscribe and let us know if you have something you want us to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. If you have any questions or whatsoever, we'll put also our emails that we can answer during our podcast.
Yeah.
That's one of the things
we'll
that we're also thinking. We'll get Q&A sessions. We're gonna have that. So yeah, guys, tell us, talk to us. We want to really hear from you. We want to hear your struggles and what you are doing now, that is helping you, and that we may be able to put that out into the community, put that out into the world, and help people. Also, I wanted to mention that we do have listeners from other countries, So all the Australia, Saudi Arabia, who knew? Saudi Arabia. Those are the things that all the other countries that I know of, and so these are kind of the things that we just.
It's so universal.
Yes, it is. It is.
There's nothing. King Solomon said, "There's nothing new under the sun."
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter where you live in the continent.
It doesn't.
We all have, it's about the same thing.
Exactly.
Like we all go through the things that we go through, and it is universal as long as we're human.
Yes.
There's issues.
Yeah.
You can apply any of this to your life because there's no such thing as a perfect life. There's circumstances that come, and budgeting is for everyone.
It's for everyone.
And taking care of self-care is for everyone. Like if you're breathing, we're all going through the same things.
Exactly.
We can learn from one another.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of our, I don't know how many parts this is going to be, part 1, 2, and 3, or maybe 4. I have no idea. I leave that up to the editor, the chief editor.
Yes.
Who's not here, by the way?
Who's not here today because the editor just finished school and she's in the Keys enjoying the sun and the fun and the boating.
So we'll leave that up to our chief editor. But until next time, guys, I love to say this phrase that we use always on our podcast is to stop, drop, and pray.
We thank you, God, for this session. These sessions.
Yes.
We thank you that no matter what we're going through, that you will meet us.
Yes.
And we just specifically today ask you to meet all of us in our budgeting and being, good stewards of our finance, Lord. And even if we're upside down, God, where our expenses are greater than our finances, you have no lack. In the kingdom of God. So we just ask you for your provisions and your blessings and your daily bread for our life, Lord. We thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right,
Till
guys.
next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Now, of course, this is I don't know, guys. It's probably going to be a 4-part series or 5-part series. I have no clue. But I'm sure and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did recording it with my friend Susan. So, again, I want you to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. If you have any questions, that you maybe something that has been on your mind and you could not get anyone to answer it for you, please, by all means, drop a comment below and we'll be sure to respond to you. So again, guys, thank you so much. Because of you, our tribe is growing. All right? Now, till next time, peace and love.